Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Planet Zoo. For those of you that don't know, Planet Zoo is a lot like Planet Coaster, where you build and manage a zoo instead of building and managing a theme park. There's lots of different modes of play, but I think my favorite mode of play is Sandbox. And the reason why Sandbox is my favorite mode of play is because you have unlimited funds. You can, you just have all the money you can ever possibly want. You can get every animal in the game, and you don't have to worry about, is it available? Do I have the money to get it? Blah, 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 blah. And it lets you focus on just being creative. Now, the purpose of this video, as you probably saw in the title, was heat maps and what are they good for. This is kind of a quick tip, maybe a quick guide. I don't know if I'm going to make this a series or if this is just going to be a one-off shoot video. I'll let you guys decide. There's plenty of things that I can talk about, little tips and tricks, things you can do to make life a little bit easier. But I think a lot of YouTubers already cover that stuff. But one thing I've seen a lot of YouTubers do, especially the guys who are just going through and checking out creations, they comment a lot on, well, I think the animal can escape. I think the animal can go here or here or here, when the animal can't. um, there are mechanics in the game that you can work and play with. For example, I don't need this barrier up here for this lion den because the lions cannot climb up this. They can't even jump up there. How do I know this? Well, it's simple. You just simply left click on an animal, you hit the H button, and you can hit the H button or you can even come down here to where it says heat maps. So right now we have animal welfare. And what this shows you is, is it green? They're all green, so they're all happy. And we can actually go through and look at all of them. The okapi are happy. My zebras and my warthogs, they're happy. The giraffes, they're all happy. All of my animals are happy. And I know this just by hitting the H button and going to animal welfare. You can also go to breeding. This tells you, potential mates. So this guy here, he can mate with these two lionesses. He can't mate with the male lion. That's what that's showing you, right? Over here, my okapi, they cannot mate. The zebras, this zebra, or let's say this zebra, cannot mate with this one. This warthog cannot mate with this one, but all the other warthogs can. That's all it's showing you. And you can look here, unable to mate, potential inbreeding if it's red. And that's something that's coming into the game. You're going to be able to check out genetics and stuff like that. But going back to where can the animal go, as I fly all over the place, you come over here to habitat, traversable area. It tells you right there. If it's blue, that's where the animal can go. If it's green, that's what animals can climb. And I don't have any climbing structures to show you how that works. This works. So the animal can climb up this because it's green. However, if I press H again, they can't go anywhere. So I'm not worried about them climbing and escaping because they can't. Another thing I can do there is I can make this unclimbable, H, by simply editing the barrier. Why it jumped way out there is beyond me. So I got that highlighted, and you can come over here, climb proof, and I believe it's the right side. Yep, right side. And what it did was it put this thing that keeps the animals from climbing. Granted, we've got some cross-fighting with the textures because of the way I had to build this place, but we're good. The animals can't climb. Let's go back. If you see one of these red points, that is something you have to take care of. Like if we highlight this, it says walkable escape point, which basically means the animal can just walk right out of your barrier. This one, climbable escape point. So say they can climb up on top of this structure here, which they can't because I've got this climb-proof thing on it. Otherwise they would be able to. They can climb up on here, walk over this way, and jump down. But because I have that climb-proof barrier, this doesn't show up. And then we have jumpable escape points. And this is a little buggy because it doesn't always show. I saw that on a video. It was actually one of my creations. And I was surprised because it was the first time I saw a lion jump outside of the barrier. I ran this and it didn't show it, so I was a little like, what? But anyways, so this shows where they can go, right? I think they should be able to climb these trees. No? I figured they'd be able to climb these trees. Pretty sure the tigers can climb trees. But anyways, so everything that's blue is where these lions can go. As you can see, they can't come up anywhere near here. They can't go up in here. They just can't. They can't even go over on this side of the gate or on this side of the pond. At least not all the way. And then you got all this here. So that's something, I mean, it'll help you identify problem areas. That's the biggest point that I'm trying to make here. We come over here to the Okapi. That shows everywhere the Okapi can go. I don't have any red marks, so the Okapi should not be able to escape at any point. Same thing down here. Warthog. We can see everywhere the warthog can go. I don't see any red points. I'm golden. Can the zebras do it? No, they can't. They can't go anywhere. Giraffes, same way. The giraffes can't go anywhere other than inside their habitat. And I really want to point this out because it's annoying when I see videos done by YouTubers looking at creations and basically making fun of a creation because, oh, well, they can get out there. I'd be afraid to go anywhere near that habitat because they can get out there. Well, they can't. All right. This is a game. Yes, there's some realism that should be involved in the game, but we also have this thing called an imagination. Let's try using it. All right. Um, it's a natural barrier like this. This is a natural barrier. The lions can't climb it. They can't jump up onto it. It's good. We're fine. So we also have shelter, which shows where the lions, in this case, can go to take shelter. This does show that the lions might clip through here, but most likely they won't. They'll usually just hang out right here on the bedding, or like this guy's doing right there by the rubbing post. This one's over here by the feed bag. It shows you where their shelter is. If you want to know how good their shelter is, that's it. You know, you got a sad face and you got a happy face. The darker the color, the better. That's what this is showing. So my shelters aren't that great, at least not with the Okapi. How are they with the lions? Yeah, it's pretty dark for the lions. It's decent for the lions. Zebras, we can check. I mean, they've got lots of shelter here that they can go. And they're going underneath the walkway. If you're wondering why is that showing shelter, it's because they can go underneath the walkway. Same with right here. Warthog should be showing the same thing. Yeah. The circle's got a little bit bigger because they're smaller. And we can go to the giraffes. Shelters look good. They all look good. All right. So that's under the second tab when you press the H button, under Habitat. We can go to Temperature. This will show you the temperature of your whole park. So you may have spots in your park that are just super hot because you've got heaters in place. Some animals need that heater. They like it really, really warm. On the flip side, some animals like it really, really cold. So you have to add heaters or you have to add coolers. If you're managing guests, the guest happiness, you might want to add some coolers along the pathway as well to keep the guests cool. Right now, we're probably, I would say this would probably be the 70s, this like orangish yellow color, which is right about here on the scale. So it's comfortable. It's a little warm, but it's a comfortable warm. This would probably be like triple digits. We're talking Fahrenheit, mind you. This would probably be triple digits, and here we're looking at -0. Um, just to kind of put it in perspective, right around in here we're probably looking at about 50 degrees Fahrenheit if we put it on a scale like that. So that's another thing you can look at, and I suggest looking at it, especially when you start getting your park big and ready for guests. And if your animals are unhappy, remember this, if you got an animal that's showing, orange or red, you might want to check the temperature because that could very well be the problem. Water. Water is water. It just shows you where all your water on the map is. That's it. Um, when you have it blue like this, that means the water's clean. If it's red, that means the water is dirty. And like it says there, water treatment facility not working. However, in the sandbox mode, you have the option to power everything and to keep water clean without having to build a power plant, a solar power thing, and without having to build a water cleaning facility, which is what I'm using here because I don't want to use that stuff. It's a waste of time. There's no reason to have it there, especially when, somebody were to come in and look at this park who didn't build it. They're not going to pay attention to that. They're not going to look for your water cleaning supplies. They're not going to look for your solar panels. They're just not going to waste the time doing that. Same thing with power. It'll show you every building that's got power. It'll show you your education stuff. So like our education board, our educational speakers, that all has power. Over here you automatically get power where your main entrance is if you don't change any of that up. So that's another thing to look at. Does everything have power? Excuse me. Buildings, all facilities. It shows you where all of your facilities are. And this is all your staff facilities and guest facilities. Same thing, if it's red, that means there's something wrong with it. Blue means it's something good. We can go staff facilities. Just to narrow it down, all my staff facilities you can see in blue. We can go guest facilities. Now we see all the guest facilities are in blue. All right, pretty simple. Negative impact on guests. This is also changing in the next update. What this is it gives you a visual representation on where your guests will be unhappy if it comes within these red zones. So if this was a guest path, I would be good all the way up until here. Right here, the guests would start getting a little angry because they see these staff buildings. They don't want to see staff buildings. They don't want to be anywhere near staff buildings. They don't want to see solar power generators. They don't want to see your water treatment plants. They don't want to be anywhere near that stuff. So you got to be mindful of that. I do believe this also is like a bubble. So if you raise this up, it'll still show an area of influence for each building. Moving on. Oh, I said they were changing this. What they announced in the update was that as long as your building has 100% on decor, like a 100%, shoot, what's it called? Uh, Basically decoration rating, it will reduce the influence by 50%. So the more you decorate the building up to 100% decoration, the less influence the building will have on your guests. Security and crime. This shows you where your security guards are, and it'll also show you where vandalism is being taken place. So let's say a guest is pissed off and they kick over this trash bin. It'll show that this trash bin was vandalized. Maybe they punched one of your glass walls. It'll show that. Um, Here you go, cameras and guards. So that shows you where my guards are. I don't have any do not feed signs, so it's not showing that. I don't have any do not disturb signs, and I don't have any vandalized objects. So we're not going to see any of that stuff. Guest education. Education area for speakers, education boards. If you go into red, it means the speakers are overlapping. If you see yellow, it's incorrect or unassigned education. If you see black, it's unpowered. As you can see here, my education for the 4 animals that I have right now are good to go. I still need to add education for the lions. Guest needs. I don't have any guests in the park, but this will show you how your guests are feeling. It's kind of like your animal happiness tab, except it's more specific for the guests. Green, good. Yellow is wavering. Red, bad. Red, you're dead, as we put it. If you click on energy, it'll show how tired the guest is. If you go to hunger, pretty obvious, it'll tell you how hungry the guest is. Maybe if you have, like, say over here, you have a whole bunch of guests that are hungry, you might want to consider putting in a food court in that area. That's how you can work that. Energy. Same thing, if there's a whole bunch of guests in the red for energy, you might want to put some benches down. That way they can rest. Happiness, that's multi-tiered with a whole bunch of different stuff. You know, can they see the animals from the viewpoints? Do they have, what they need? Bathroom, well, I guess not bathrooms, that's already there. But things like that. It's just their overall happiness with the park. Thirst, just like hunger. If they're thirsty, build a drink station. If they need to use the bathroom, you might want to put in a bathroom somewhere nearby. So that's how that works. Staff happiness, same way as everything else. We come over here, we can see that my staff, they're all in the green. Every single one of my staff members are in the green because I turned that crap off. I don't want to have to manage my staff. Is it realistic? No. But it saves me time. I don't want to be worrying about my staff when I'm trying to build something. I don't want to be worrying about them when I'm trying to put in animals. I don't want to worry about my staff. And I think I turned off most of the happiness stuff for the animals as well. I think. No. I just kept them from dying and I kept them from fighting each other. That's what I did. So actually my animals are really good right now. They're all happy. They got enough water, they got shelter, they got enough food, they got enough things to play with. But anyways, guys, that's what I wanted to show you. To get out of this, we can click on this little radar thing, or we can press H again, and it goes away. So that's what I wanted to show you. It's, like I said, it's kind of a pet peeve when I hear people say, oh, the lion can get up here, or whatever, and the lion can't. It's a game. It has mechanics. Work with the mechanics. Be creative. I know some YouTubers, they want ultra realistic stuff, and they will hit you if your park isn't super realistic. They'll hit you if your habitat's not super realistic. Fuck them guys. I'm going to be honest with you, man. They can all go kick rocks. This is your game. build it the way you want to build it, man. If you're happy with it, roll with it. Odds are if you're happy with it, somebody else is going to like what you did, or they're going to be inspired by something that you did. For example, there was something that inspired me. What was it? Bear with me a moment, guys. I'm sorry. What was it? I cannot think of it. Maybe it was on a different habitat that I built. Nothing's popping out right at the moment. Oh, you know what? Right here. And in the lines as well. I saw something way back when Planet Zoo first came out, way back. It's only been a few months. But I didn't know that you can make windowed barriers. For one, I had no clue you can do that. So I was like, oh, no kidding. So I don't have to have just this fence here for people to look down into a pit. They can actually be on ground level and look into the habitat. That is so cool. You know, I don't have to have a chain link fence. I don't have to have an electric fence. They can just look right into the habitat. The other thing I learned about was one-way glass. So here, it's all nice and clear looking into the okapi habitat, but the okapi, they can't really see the humans on the other side. And that's good for really skittish creatures. Let's see, buffalo, all your deer type animals, the gazelles, the springbok. Uh, let's see, springbok. They also have a gemsbok, I think, is they have in this game as well. Uh, they're really skittish around humans, so you want to give them some privacy. You don't want them to know that they're being watched, basically. Otherwise, it's going to cause them problems, or it's going to cause you problems, I should say. Um, so yeah, I, you don't have to build to somebody else's specifications. You don't have to build to please other people. Build to please yourself. I constantly going through here with just these four habitats, and I'm always changing stuff because I'm like, like here, for example, this fence went all the way across. There was no windowed fencing. And I went, that's kind of stupid. The guests are walking right by here. They should be able to look into it. So I did like a 3/4 type deal because I wanted this to kind of be a transitional phase because this is when we start to move upwards. Uh, the same thing with over here. Originally I was going to have this be glassed, but I was like, no, no, I want everybody to be focusing on the lions if they're coming over here. So I just boarded that off. Um, but yeah, you're always going to be changing stuff. And like I said, as long as you're happy with it, roll with it, guys. You're going to get criticism, especially if you submit your stuff to another YouTuber to look at. They're going to comment on it. They're going to point out things that they don't like. They're going to point out things that they don't like more than they point out things that they do like. That's one thing I have learned through submitting with one of the channels that I submitted my stuff to. There's a lot of critiques. Some of it is flat out negative. You're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get trollers, people who just don't have anything nice to say. And you're also going to get people who are like, oh, wow, that is so cool. I didn't know you can do that. Or, wow, I really like that. I want to steal that. Can you put that on the workshop so I can use it? I've had that. I've had comments like that where, hey, could you put that thing that you built into the workshop? I'd really like to use it in my park. And usually I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. All I ask is that you credit me somewhere in the park for that. Or, if you're going to make a video on it, credit my build in your video. That's all I ask. um, and it's cool when people do that. And I'm starting to ramble when I should be ending this video. So there you have it, guys. That's heat maps, how to use them, what they can tell you. Use them to your benefits, folks. That's what they're there for. They were put into this game so you can use them to make the best habitat, to make the best zoo that you can possibly make with your imagination being the only limit. So there you have it, guys. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next video. As of right now, I'm still working on the Hunter Call of the Wild series. If there's something else you want to see, maybe I could do a walkthrough of what I have on Shine Mountain Zoo so far. I'm willing to do that if that's something that you guys are interested in. I can do a video. Actually, I'm planning on showing you a video of a reptile house that I'm going to build. And that's probably going to be a multi-part series because I don't do speed builds. I refuse to do speed builds on YouTube because they give me a headache. But yeah, there we have it. As always, be safe, be cool, have fun. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.